This episode is sponsored by Elanco. Elanco offers a broad range of industry-leading products and services focused on helping you create strong flock health that drives success. Dr. Scott Gustin is the U.S. Poultry Technical Leader at Elanco. His areas of expertise include broiler integrator and primary breeder, focusing on disease, efficiency, and food safety. Dr. Gustin earned his doctorate in veterinary medicine from the Virginia Maryland College of Veterinary Medicine, and he is based in Springdale, Arkansas. And we are now joined by Dr. Gustin. Doctor, thank you for taking time to talk with us about this subject. And we begin by asking you why it's so important to understand the mode of action and why it's so critical when selecting coccidiosis interventions.
It sounds like high science, but really understanding the life cycle and the modes of action is kind of one of the basics of really designing effective control programs. Different interventions, they act at different or specific parasite life stages, and matching that mode of action to a complex or several farm specific coccidia pressures really optimizes your control. So understanding the mode of action, it not only informs your intervention strategies, but it'll help you, kind of, I guess, customize your program from whatever ionophores or chemicals or what other strategies you're gonna use. You're gonna need to know kind of what to expect with those different products. And when you look at broiler production, whether it's a big bird or small bird, you're looking at 4 to 7 cycles of a year. So you have to kind of anticipate what are going to be your issues during those times of the year and how to plan accordingly. And then, some interventions, they permit some controlled parasite exposure to build immunity, but others might suppress it entirely. And again, you just have to know what to expect. When are the oocysts or cycling curves? What are those going to look like? And what are the potential pitfalls or problem ages that could create issues with bird health and cocci?
So, doctor, with that being said, we know that there are a range of tools in the toolbox to help control coccidiosis, from ionophores to chemicals to vaccines. So how do ionophores differ from chemical anticoccidials in their mode of action against coccidiosis?
Yeah, so for ionophores, they behave, or they act in the lumen of the intestine, so the inside of the intestine,
Mhm.
and they work by disrupting this ion balance, or how sodium is moved out of a sporozoite or merozoite. But in general, the principles are they don't kill them all, they kill a lot of them. And they specifically go after those stages, and those are rather long stages of the cocci's life cycle. But those are the guys that are creating a lot of the damage. So control of those is very important. The good thing about that is due to that mode of action, there's reduced. You can have reduced sensitivity, but very rarely ever have resistance. And so long-term usage of those products is it can be very, very beneficial and a good tool for the tool belt. I would say that, yeah, it allows for controlled immunity versus some of the other programs out there. So, to kind of contrast that, strong chemicals, the ones that, aren't really leaky, or, some of the mainstay chemicals, very, very effective products, but they're not leaky. They're not weak. And they function by direct intracellular killing. So, but they're very, very specific towards certain parts of the life cycle. So that makes them very, very effective, but resistance develops very, very quickly as a result of that. So yeah, resistance to those products is definitely a risk. And then immunity, it can impede the immune process. So you have to be wary of that as well.
So, Dr. Gustin, then how should producers evaluate whether to use ionophores, chemicals, or vaccines in their programs?
Well, I think I'd start by asking, what do you really need? What do you need from this program? What is your marketing program for those birds? What labels are they marketed under? And then, what have you done recently in the past that will kind of like frame, what your program's going to be. The ionophores they're ideal for broilers needing, kind of that balance between control and immunity. Great for anticoccidial protection if they can be used, and especially potentiated ionophores that have some extra benefits to them. Uh, Chemicals are really best for high challenge scenarios and low historical use, so they've been rested for a while. And then vaccines, they're really optimal for long-lived birds requiring longer immunity, because we really don't have time to make up for any damage that they might uh, create in the intestine earlier on. I guess if I was going to say this is like a football analogy, I would say your ionophores are like a good running game. Your chemicals are like running a post route. You're either going to score or your quarterback's going to be on his back. And then your vaccines are like your offensive line play. How much damage are they allowing to happen? How many holes are they allowing in your game? So there's also, there's combination approaches, either vaccine with chemicals or vaccines with ionophores, and those can be very effective too. They need to be timed right, and they need to be monitored very, very closely, or you can really be leaving a little bit more meat on the bone as you can with vaccines. So, I guess finally, you have to consider your bird size, what are your production goals, season, and really know the performance history of a location. You need to rotate chemicals strategically, rest them strategically, and there's some more forgiving programs with ionophores and such. So I think you have to understand, know the available tools, know what program you're marketing for, and then kind of tailor those strategies to each operation's unique needs.
Well, you used that football analogy a short time ago. It's often said that football is also the ultimate team game, and I think you just explained how everything has to be working together, or you're going to have an issue like the quarterback will in football. Dr. Gustin, thank you so much for your time today and breaking down what could be complex so that the average person can kind of understand what is going on.
Sure thing. Thank you very much for having me.
All right, you got it. And this podcast episode, by the way, is brought to you by Elanco. Elanco Animal Health Incorporated is a global leader in animal health dedicated to innovating and delivering products and services to prevent and treat disease in farm animals and pets, creating value for farmers, pet owners, veterinarians, stakeholders, and society as a whole. With over 70 years of animal health heritage, we are committed to helping our customers improve the health of animals and their care while also making a meaningful impact on our local and global communities. At Elanco, we are driven by our vision of food and companionship, enriching life, and our Elanco healthy purpose, all to advance the health of animals, people, the planet, and our enterprise. You can learn more at elanco.com.